What's up, Paratroopers? You ready to take a leap of faith? Well, Polkadot Parachains, they're coming with para slots to be filled, and guess what? They're limited. So let's identify who's gonna make it, cause it's time for Chico Crypto. So before that, do you remember my video on Monday, history and comparison of Ethereum, Polkadot, and Cardano's proof of stake in terms of decentralization? Ethereum was number one as it had the most validators and it didn't rely on any centralized component. Polkadot was number two. It had the least amount of validators, just over 250, but it didn't rely on a central component, aka clock. While Cardano was the least, had more validators than Polkadot, over 1,300, but still to this day relies on a central clock. Although we're forgetting something about DOT, validator numbers are going to increase. They just put out an update, and validators in the active set will increase by one for each era, leading up to a new maximum soon of 296 validators. But in December, the 1,000 validator program is launching, so yeah. And we forgot something else, Kusama. Kusama is an extension of DOT, and as we can see from their subscan, they already have over 700 validators. But going back to that Reddit post, their active validator set will increase to 900 soon. So actually, between the two, DOT and Sama, it has just as many validators right now and more very soon, and it's not relying on centralization. And that Kusama, my mama, my baby mama's drama is highly important to today's video topic, Parachains. And why is that? Well, Kusama is a development breakthrough in the crypto space, a canary network for a blockchain, a live network with economic consequences for developers to test on it. Test networks, once a blockchain gets popular enough, have always suffered from the same problems: spam attacks as gas is free and no real-world governance. I'm sure Ethereum could tell you a thing or two about that. They've faced those problems leading up to Ethereum 2.0. Kusama was built to solve all of that, to create a test canary network which was as comparable to the real thing as possible, and so far it's worked flawlessly. And here lies the path to a Polkadot parachain through Kusama. It's how you identify which projects are going to make it in this ecosystem. And now is the time, as if you go back to the ecosystem update post on Reddit, it says, note that in the near future, in preparation for parachains, all validators will have to rotate their session keys to add approval assignment and approval vote keys. They said preparation for parachains on Polkadot, and you need to understand how limited the parachain slots will be. Going to the Polkadot wiki in parachain slot auctions, it says for a parachain to be added to Polkadot, it must inhabit one of the available parachain slots. A parachain slot is a scarce resource on Polkadot, and only a limited amount will be available. As parachains ramp up, there may only be a few slots that are unlocked every few months. The goal is to eventually have 100 parachain slots available on Polkadot. Did you hear that? Once parachains ramp up, and they are, there may be only a few parachain slots unlocked every few months. And if you take that into account for the first year, after the parachains go live soon, a few every few months would only equal at max 12 for the year, and only 2 to 3 after the first month. So the ones who have followed the correct path to a parachain through Kusama are more likely going to be ready to win these auctions. Now, Polkadot put out a blog post in October which gave some details on how companies could obtain one of these parachain slots. It's a more than deep article which goes into the process, but at the very end it gives the parachain development path, and Chico likes. It says, number 1, parachain deployment to Rococo, the parachain testnet for Polkadot and Kusama. This will allow the project to verify the soundness of their technology before deploying on a platform with real economic consequences. Number 2, after the technology is sufficiently developed, the parachain should be deployed to Kusama, the canary network with real economic consequences. Then number 3, after fine-tuning on Kusama, projects that require bank-like security and robustness may consider a Polkadot deployment. And in the case of that deployment, many teams will choose to retain their Kusama deployment to test new features. So basically, I'm looking for those who have gone through this process. It's written right there, the path. So who has gone down that path less traveled? Well, months ago I mentioned it. From what I can see, and in my opinion, the most technically advanced team out there, Robonomics XRT. So, Robonomics on Rococo Testnet. Check. It's right there in their GitHub. How about Robonomics as a parachain on Kusama? Check, it happened back in May. And you want to know what's highly interesting? Around the same time Polkadot put out their obtaining a Polkadot Parachain slot blog post, Robonomics put out this blog post, Robonomics Parachain Lease Offering. And in it, it says, Robonomics developers aim to allocate $720,000 for a 2-year lease of a slot in the Kusama network. This underlying amount of XRT will be distributed among the KSM holders who will support the project with their tokens at the upcoming auction of Polkadot's wild cousin. So are they just securing a 2-year lease slot on Kusama? Well, they explain. They say, Kusama first is our development strategy in the Polkadot ecosystem for the next 2 years. What? Does that mean no Polkadot Parachain? Well, yeah, you are correct. But this is not a bad thing, and actually is a really freaking good thing. The team says below, the Kusama lease will allow Robonomics to debug the process of connecting IoT systems. Next, we will be ready to scale the network to 1 million IoT systems connected in real time by transforming the Robonomics network from a Kusama parachain to a Polkadot relay chain. Oh yeah, they aren't aiming for a parachain. They are aiming for a relay chain. That's the goal. They also say, by the time the Polkadot network is technically ready to accept 100 parachain projects and the Kusama network is successfully connected as a parachain in the Polkadot slot, Robonomics will be ready to introduce its own parachain of parachains to multiply the bandwidth. Yippee-ki-yay, other truckers. It's a grander vision, a needed path to take for that vision, and similar to another favorite of mine, Energy Web Chain. Energy Web isn't just pushing for a simple slot, but filling that slot with another relay chain, which can host multiple other parachains itself, not just be a single parachain or parathread, which is suitable for some dApps and projects, but not something of these two scale, XRT and Energy Web. But Tyler, who will fill the first parachain slots then? Well, luckily the Polkadot wiki has a list of those taking the first step of building a parachain on the Rococo testnet. Besides the core test parachains Tick, Trick, and Track, there is of course Robonomics, but also Mandala, Darwina, Plasm, and Turbulence. So who could be the first? Mandala is the Acala network. Darwina is Darwina, Plasm is Plasm, and Turbulence is Laminar. Well, out of those, not many with a token ready to be traded, only Darwina. But if you go to each of their roadmaps, Acala says Q1 2021 Parachain launch offering, Plasm says Q1 2021 Polkadot Parachain, and Laminar says Parachain offering then too. Those three are all going for the first batch, which is going to come within the next few months. But that leaves us with Darwina. Are they attempting to win one? Well, going to their roadmap, it doesn't go beyond Q4 2020. And I searched for an official word, but I could not find it. So 3 that say they will all be the first. All non-tradable tokens though, for now. And 1 maybe. It's tradable though, mainnet ready and cross Ethereum bridge ready. But the Polkadot wiki doesn't tell the entire story. Polkadot.js does, and there are many other live networks and test networks, potential parachains, and I'm gonna save you all the time. I went through each one, no roadmap said or was clear if they were going live with the first parachain slots, but 2, and 1 with a token. I've been super bullish on Sora Network. We can see them down in test, and XOR, they have even put out a detailed Medium post with their parachain slot plans. And the other one, BiFrost, which is also down in test with Asgard. And going to their roadmap, we can see they have in Q1 2021 an auction for Polkadot Parachain slot. But here is a nice little tidbit with BiFrost. They have a mint drop going on where you can lock Ethereum to receive their BCN tokens for a sweet go live in Q1 2021. Cheers. I'll see you next time.